What's up? How's everybody doing? I'm doing great. I am out here in my happy place. I encourage all of you to find your own happy place in nature. I woke up with a headache this morning. It was killing me. I'm ultimately dehydrated. For one, I work at a job where I'm pretty much chained to a desk, so I don't want to have to take too many bathroom breaks, so I intentionally don't drink enough water. And then along with this hot, humid summer that we're having, I will sweat out more fluids than I take in. So that is your sign right now to drink more water, whether you're in a hot place or not. Always drink more water. I definitely need to do so, and I have drank a lot of water today. I had some things that made me get up and move today, whether I wanted to or not, and that is good. I'm glad that it happened because I don't need to stay in that place, whether I feel good or not. I got to get up and push through, especially when you don't feel like it, right? Especially when you feel sad or something is bothering you in any way, whether it be your health or, financially or whatever, any situation that you're in. If you don't feel like getting up and moving, that's when you need to move the most. That is when your body needs to move and work that out of your system. You need to start to get your body moving. You need to get that energy flowing again. Try to open up your chakras. You don't want to let energy get stagnant or stuck. You want things to flow freely through you. So even though I didn't choose to start moving when I had to, I'm glad that it happened because that's what I needed to do. And once I did, things didn't immediately get better, but once I got back out into nature, things cooled off later in the day, and it is perfect outside right now. It's overcast. The wind is blowing like a lot. It feels so good out here. And then to hear the water and the breeze, the trees rustling because of the breeze, and then just being out in nature, I have balanced myself. I have grounded myself. I just feel back to good. And I'm glad that I did this. So I would encourage all of you to get out into nature and to ground yourself and find a place where it's peaceful and you're not bothered by anything. You can find a good place to meditate without distractions. Be around water is the best. I love listening to the water. I love being in water. It's just very calming and relaxing. So I think that you would all benefit from finding a place like that and getting out to where you can ground yourself and meditate and reconnect with nature, reconnect with God, center yourself. It's very, very good for you. So I encourage all of you to do that. Today, I want to talk a little bit about isolation and ascension. When you start to, when you get on your path, you're trying to pray for your purpose, you're doing your healing work, you are dedicating your life to the path that you're on, whether you know what your purpose is or not, whether if you know what your purpose is and you've stepped fully into it, you haven't stepped fully into it, it's something that's still in progress. We're always going to be in progress, but I hope you understand what I mean, that you're done with the negativity, you're done with the karmic cycles, you're closing those things out, you're not trying to be around toxicity anymore. You have made your mind up that you've had enough of that. You're going to turn your back on it, and you're going to just start putting one foot in front of the other and trusting God to guide you, to listen to your intuition, pray nonstop about everything, to let go and to surrender. When you start getting on that journey, which I highly recommend, guys, this is what it's all about, okay? This is what it's all about. This is what I'm trying to teach you, and this is that's the beginning right there. And when you have dedicated your life to that, whether you slip up or not, like I said, course correction, get back on it. You're not going to be perfect. Nobody's going to be perfect. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have slip ups. You're going to make mistakes. It's not going to be easy. It's very hard. But when you have made up your mind that you want better for yourself, and you start loving yourself more than the toxic relationships that you've been in, the karmic cycles, close those out. Start to pour that energy and love that you've given to those dead ends, or those just vicious cycles that you've been in. When you've decided to turn your back on that and you start putting that energy into yourself and into blind faith with God, it's very essential to isolate yourself. It's not only essential to isolate yourself because you need to separate yourself from the toxicity and the low vibing things that you used to resonate with or think that you needed for existing, because you either loved those people or that was your comfort zone. You need to isolate to hear God's voice more clearly, to grow closer to Him. If you're going to have blind faith and surrender everything, then it's very important for you to grow closer to God, because He is going to help you out of it. You can't do it alone. You're never alone. Like I say all the time on every video, you're never alone. So are you going to let those ultimately in the 5D, if you look up 5D, please do your own research. I'm not going to go into it and give someone else an open door to be like, look, she's crazy, she's talking about things that she's made up. No, I haven't made it up. Look it up yourself. I'm just going to mention it. The 5D, that's where I'm talking about we're never alone. You're not living just in the 3D, in the 3 dimension, the things that we can see and touch and have tangible in our lives. It's the things that we don't see. It's our vision, our support in the spiritual realm. It's your angels, your guides, things like that. So look up the 5D, become familiar with what I'm talking about when I mention that, because I'm not going to go into detail about it. Either you're with it or you're not. You're curious or you're not. If you want to hate on it, you can, but I'm not going to give you endless content to ridicule. If you choose to walk that path, that's your decision. I'm not looking to be a preacher or a priestess in any way. If this resonates with you and that feels right and you're guided to that, then I'll help show you what I did to get on my path and to pray for my purpose and to ultimately step into it as I'm doing right now fully. So it's important to isolate yourself, mainly because that's when you're going to start doing your shadow work. That's when you're going to start peeling back the layers. You're going to shed the conditioning that you've been taught your whole life. You're going to get out of everything that you've been taught. You're going to shed back, when I say shed back the layers, you're going to peel them back like an onion. The things, the shell that covers you, it just consists of things that you've been taught by school, church, your parents, your friends, things that you thought that you had to be. You're gonna fire your representative, the person that you have presented to the world that you thought you needed to create in order to belong, in order to fit in. You are going to shed the layers of hurt and trauma. So in order to do that, you are going to be back in that energy again. You are going to feel that hurt and that pain from past experiences that didn't serve you, that actually did the opposite, and they were traumatic and very hurtful and damaging. You are going to examine those things. You're going to pick them apart. You're going to forgive yourself for whatever part you had in it. You're going to forgive others for the part that they had in it. Does that mean let them back into your life again? No, but that means to recognize that they were doing that to you because they were in a hurt place themselves. Forgive them. Forgiveness is for you. And move on. You don't need them back in your life, but you do need to let it go. You do need to surrender it. You do need to let it go. It doesn't serve you to stay in that hurt place, to hold on to it. It's like drinking poison and expecting it to kill someone else. It's only going to kill you. So you have to find a way to let it go. You don't ever have to talk to that person again. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on therapy. Just examine it, address it, heal from it, pour back into yourself. Do inner child healing. Look that up as well. I've described that in my other videos, and I'm going to do a more in-depth video on transmuting energy, which a big part of that for me has been inner child healing and getting in touch with your inner child and loving that person and being proud of that person, and you being no longer being that person, but you're going to address what your inner child went through. You're going to address things beyond that you as a teenager or an adult, whatever you went through before you decided to get on this path that was hurtful, that kept you in that hurtful place, in that low vibrational place. You weren't dealing with those things. You were putting band-aids on them. You were staying in the toxicity because you thought that was all that you were worth. And it's not. So when you get on your path, you're going to start realizing that life is so much more than that, and you were just stuck. You're stuck. You don't have to feel stuck. You were meant to ascend. You were meant to learn those lessons and move on. You weren't meant to stay in those places, but a lot of times we don't see a way out. It's so hard to see a way out. We're so hurt, and then we cover things up with band-aids. Sometimes you get addicted to anything. Codependent, addicted to love, addicted to food. It doesn't have to be drugs. Sometimes it is drugs and alcohol, but addiction could be a lot of things that are not self-serving but keep you stuck because you're self-medicating. You're not healing those wounds. You're covering them up, which keeps you in that place longer. Other things with isolation, you're just giving yourself time. You're giving yourself time to reflect on things, to self-reflect. You're making a new plan. You're listening to God tell you how to put one foot in front of the other. Sometimes he's gonna, like the poem Footprints, he's gonna carry you. I saw one set of footprints in the sand, and that's when I carried you, because you were so hurt while you were addressing these things, or because of something that had been done to you in the moment or in the past, where you were just so hurt that you needed a safe space to lick your wounds and come up with a plan on how to move forward without the people that hurt you, without clinging to the past, without staying stuck. It's so important for many reasons to isolate. And a lot of times when you're in isolation, your enemies might think, well, I got them. People that are agents of the devil, they will always be in pursuit of bringing people that are in the light down, because they don't want to do the work, right? They could be in the light, they could be healing and on their journey and on their path, but they choose to stay low vibrational because that's their comfort zone, or they have gained from it in the past, so they've gotten some kind of gratification from it. It's worked for them for a long time. It won't work forever. As we were talking about yesterday, the tower moment is inevitable. If you're building things on shaky ground, your tower will fall. You don't get to choose when someone's karma hits, but God's timing is perfect, and he knows right when to show them that they're not in control and serve them up that vengeance, because vengeance is his, it's not ours. But a lot of times when they're stuck in that place and they don't want to get on their path and they don't want to heal, they'll continue to try to take you down, or, well, I'm gonna be the one. I was listening to a video earlier talk about the movie Fallen. I've talked about that in another video that's private, but Fallen has been very significant to me as far as spiritual warfare and what I've been going through, because sometimes it seems like that energy transfers, and the energy that I'm talking about is like demonic energy, negative entities that attach themselves to people, and when one person can't get you, it will transfer to another person, and then they will try to be the one to take you down. So in essence, it's you're dealing with the same entity but with different faces, with different energies that it's attached to. It's a never-ending vicious cycle when you're in the light, because the devil will never stop trying to take you down. It's a relentless pursuit. So just when you think you've crossed the bridge to ultimate salvation, then someone else will reappear in a different body and a different face, different voice, different background, different, environment, and yet they will still act the same as someone that tried to do you harm in the past. And that is spiritual warfare. That is how the devil works. Just like God works through people. I believe that God is inside of us and that he is everything all at once, but the devil has to work through people. And so that's how he tries to get to you, is he will attach himself to different people and try to make them think that that's what they need to do. They're stuck in the low vibration, so it's very easy for things to attach to them. That's why I tell you guys to don't drink alcohol. Don't intentionally lower your vibration or get stuck, because that's when you're most susceptible to those types of entities, those types of behaviors of hurting people and being malicious. It's a lot easier for things to affect you when you're doing low vibrational things. So when you're in your high vibration, those things can't touch you. They can't. Tyranny cannot gain a foothold. It's very, very hard for things to stick to you. That's why it bounces off and it goes right back, because you're vibing too high for things like that to affect you, for it to stick. So isolating yourself is very good for a lot of reasons. So I encourage you guys, when you start to get on this path, to cut everybody off so that you can, start from square one, have a clean slate, to do your shadow work, to do your healing, to get closer to God, and formulate a plan in which to start putting one foot in front of the other, and welcome to your new life. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows at first, but once you create that habit and you have healed a lot, it's beautiful. It's so refreshing, and I want you all to be there. I want you to all be there with me. You can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Things will get a lot harder though when you're starting to level up, just like I was saying about, new people coming along with that same energy trying to bring you down. New levels, new devils. Once you level up, you're gonna have another something else, some other I don't want to say battle. Things are not always a battle, but it's a new something else to conquer, something else to hold your head high and make it past. It's going to be never ending, it seems, but the peace that you create for yourself is what matters. I don't let anybody mess with my peace. As hard as they try, they're not going to mess with my peace. Things I have to pray through and gather strength from God or other people that have gone through it, but I will create peace, and I'm not going to let anybody mess with that or try to drag me down. For one, I've worked too hard. I have come too far. We didn't come this far just to come this far. We're going to keep going, no ceilings. That is the name of the game once you get on this path. Do not stop. Do not ever give up. And once you find your throne and you get on it and you become unfuckwithable, do not come down off of it for anybody, and don't let anybody mess with your peace. That is key. Transmuting the negative energy is key. That's what I believe my next video will be on, because it is the best survival skill, and I want you guys to all have those tools in your pocket. Along with prayer, transmuting energy is essential. it is essential. You can't do it without it. You cannot do this without it. So anyway, when you start doing this, the new levels, new devils will come when you start ascending. Once you start getting close to coming out of that karmic cycle, to leveling up, to you're doing your shadow work, you're going to start ascending. You will start to feel ascension symptoms. Look those up. Do the research on that. Ascension symptoms are real, I will tell you. Cracking open that shell that you protected yourself, that armor of protection, those defense mechanisms, when you start cracking that open and becoming who you really are, who you were meant to be, who you've always been, but fire your representative. It's ascension symptoms are real. You're going to feel differently. You're going to feel change. You're not going to resonate with the things that you once resonated with in your low vibrational state. I stopped watching the news a long time ago because of being political, and I realized that the two-party system was a farce, that they really were all working together behind the scenes, and it was an illusion that you had a choice. It was an illusion that they were different. They're not different. Also, every time I watched the news, it was just more murder and crime and things that depressed me and brought me down. So I want you to try to get out of the quote-unquote matrix and stop watching the news. That is a good jump off for when you start this journey. Separate yourself from that as well. But when you come out of isolation and you start watching TV again, I used to love The Real Housewives and Bravo. And I noticed how when I started, I watched it, like turned on the cable in my room last night, and a couple of the Real Housewives shows were on, and I was just kind of sick at my stomach at it, like repulsed. The things that used to entertain me and that I used to find enjoying are no longer resonating with me. It no longer hits the spot. People that I used to want to hang out with, whether they did me wrong or not, like they don't want to vibrate higher. So the higher that you vibrate, the less you're going to connect with those people, the less that you're going to resonate with them, the less that you're going to have in common. And it's sad, but it's something that you have to do. You have to let go of the people, places, and things that no longer serve you, even if they didn't hurt you. If you're going to continue to ascend and level up energetically and vibrationally, you are going to have to come to the realization that those things from the past aren't part of your future. They're just not. And it'll keep happening. If you resonate with someone in your higher vibration and you keep doing work on yourself and you therefore vibrate even higher, you're going to have to continue to leave more people behind. This can be a lonely path. But just know that you're never alone. Start to seek joy in your own self-satisfaction, being your own cheerleader, comfort in spending time with yourself. Eventually, your soul tribe will find you. Eventually, you will have people that you resonate with that are continuing their path as well, and they want the best for you, and you can trust them, and they'll have your back, and you can have theirs. Eventually, once you stay on your path, others will gravitate towards you. Like attracts like. So the things that you want for yourself on this journey, other people, which I'm trying to encourage the rest of you to do and be those other people, you will also find people on your journey, other souls on your journey that want the same thing that you do, and you will vibe together and you will create an incredible bond, and you can stick together and trust someone again and have each other's backs and do it together if you want. But until then, it's okay to be by yourself. It's okay. You have God. You have your guides. So I just want to encourage you. I've listened to a lot of interviews with Kevin Gates, and his music is not necessarily a representation of how he presents himself as a person in the interviews. That's another thing I was going to talk about. You won't resonate with the same music that you used to listen to. I used to listen to a lot of rap And even that, unless it's like motivational and empowering, I don't resonate with the same rap songs that I used to listen to. I used to listen to a lot of it for confidence building, right? It's really good for that as far as when I was trying to parent myself and come up out of letting go that I just, other than my grandmother, I did not have a good family around me that were great role models. So I had to be my own role model and learn what a healthy role model looked like other than my grandmother, especially after she died. And I wanted to continue growing. I had to start learning how to be my own parent, and coming up out of that, that was one of the things that I used to build self-confidence and courage and bravery was rap music, because a lot of it is, in your face and standing up for yourself and, F the haters, stuff like that. But now that I have ascended even more, leveled up, I don't resonate with a lot of the songs that I used to think that I would listen to forever. That did help me at the time. It no longer is something that I need. So unless it's motivating or empowering, I don't even like the same kind of music that I used to listen to. So things will change, and it's okay. Change is constant. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. Be comfortable letting things go, and be comfortable with the change. Embrace it. Back to Kevin Gates. Let's look up a lot of his interviews. Listen to how he's gotten on his path. And one of the interviews that I listened to was him talking about how right before you level up, things will start to get really difficult. And I have experienced that in the past couple of days, especially. And I don't mean catastrophic things. I mean, the things that are usually hard are not hard because I've gotten used to that. I can kind of make that look easy and make it through the hurdles and the blockages with ease now. The things that I have been experiencing are the little things that aren't usually hard, are all hard right now, all hard. And I mean things like, of course, I think we're in a Mercury retrograde, which also affects communication and like internet, and definitely people from your past, especially like romantic partners trying to come back. That's a lot of the things that happens in Mercury retrograde. But power outages recently, stores that you need to go to being closed, stores that you go to, the internet will go down right in the middle of your transaction and you can't complete it. For me, adding money to my PayPal to be able to pay for something specific, and not being enough money when I had checked how much money needed to be on there for something, and then the money being different when I finally loaded the money to pay for it, and then finding a way to add more money, and then someone else's system is down. Or this morning when I didn't feel good, this lady from the hotel trying to call me and be a butthole. She was a butthole yesterday. She was a butthole today. Like, she keeps trying to try me, and I'm not into that. I'm protecting my peace, but she's trying. What else has happened? Oh, the laundromat not wanting to accept my money, and then me trying to go to one store for change, and it was closed due to they were unloading their truck, and then I had to go to another store to get change. Just things like that. Like, all of the little things that I usually don't have a problem with at all have been bam, 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 one right after another the past 2 days. Just completely out of the blue, but non-stop. So I know I'm about to level up. That's what happens. Look up Kevin Gates' interview about right before you reach a breakthrough, because it's very true. You will feel that, and you will know that's a sign that something big is about to happen for you. But I really love, I think I put one of his songs on it's not a about sex song for him. That's usually what a lot of his songs are about, sex or gangs or some kind of violence, which is completely contradictory from his interviews and the path that he says he's on. I've never been around him to discern, to know if he's really about it, but he's been inspirational to me. So as far as that's concerned, I resonate with what he talks about, at least. But anyway, I don't really resonate with the sex, violence, drugs gang songs. I'm so far removed from the sexual stuff. The only time that I really think about it is when I watch Bridgerton, because I do like Bridgerton. I like the period piece. I like the old British aspect of it, but there's a whole lot of sex in Bridgerton. But other than that, it is not a part of my life and hasn't been for a very long time. So I don't resonate with Kevin's music except for a couple of songs, and one of them is I Don't Get Tired. I added it to one of my shorts, but where he says, I'm a testament of what can happen the moment you follow your heart. And that's where I resonate with him, is that he definitely has talked about getting on his path and finding his purpose and ascending. And that's what I want you to find out the moment you follow your heart. Watch what happens. Watch what happens when you get on your path and you partner up with God and you trust Him over everything, even when it gets rough, especially when it gets rough. It's going to be one hell of a bumpy ride, but trust Him, because in the end, it is ultimately so worth it. So worth it. And I say that, guys, right, still in the trenches, right? I'm not sitting back from a mansion, you know, on vacation, telling you that, and you going, well, what does she know? No, look at me. Look at what I live in a hotel. I moved to an extended stay so I could have a full kitchen. It's basically a studio apartment. Hotels are not cheap. Hotels are more expensive than if you had your own apartment. It's way more than I paid monthly than to be in my own apartment, but that also stops you from saving. So that is a blockage that I'm working on. I don't consider it a blockage because it only is if you treat it that way, and I don't. I'm just blessed that I have a roof over my head and I have a job to pay for it. Everything else God has already worked out for me. I'm just waiting on His perfect timing. But yeah, I'm super blessed. Even in the trenches, I'm super blessed. He will have you. He has me. He will have you. You just have to take that leap. You have to take that leap from everything that's comfortable and everything that you were known for, everything that you were taught, everything that you thought you had to have, that kept you stuck in that hurt place. You don't want to be that hurt person. You can heal from that, and you can move on. You can trust Him. You can take the leap. He will have you just like He has me. And I will continue to tell you how I ascend and get up out of here, because I am going to already shout His name from the mountaintops, but I'm going to make people realize that this is how you need to trust God and walk with God. You don't need to go to church. You don't need to pay for God. Okay, that's selling God. I am giving you my testimony. I am not asking you to pay me anything to learn these things, and I feel like that's what preachers and pastors do. That's their job. They are selling God because they are using Him to support themselves, and I don't think that's right. I think a lot of times they abuse their power, and they often walk a very different path behind the scenes than what they tell you about from that pulpit. I trauma bonded with my first husband, who was the pastor's son, and his father beat him. He beat him. He cheated on his wife. He has stolen from organizations and gotten caught. He's done the exact opposite of what he got up every Sunday, Wednesday, or through youth services and told everybody that they should do, or represented himself as doing. So it was all a ruse. It was all a ruse to make money and solicit. And that's not the way. This is the way. I'm going to make people want to serve the God that I serve. And this is how you do it. I love you guys. God loves you. You're never, ever alone. Bye.